What's up, everyone? I'm Matt with Ozark Overland Adventures, and in this video I'm going to give you a full update on Sully, my 2021 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon. It just turned 86,000 miles on this trip. I'm currently in an amazing location in the Sonoran Desert. Got the Royal Arch right there. This is where I camped last night. This video will come out before these trip videos, so be sure and subscribe, and because this has been such an amazing trip. But wanted to do this here just because of the mileage. I bought this in May of 2021. It is now the beginning of March 2024, so I've had this just 2 months shy of 3 years and have already put 86,000 miles on it. It has been an incredible Jeep. It has been an incredible overlanding rig, and I absolutely love it. I have had some recent issues with it that I'm going to get into. But first, I'm going to just do a quick walkthrough of everything that's on it, everything I've modified, some recent changes that I've made. And I mean, you'll get to see it in full, overlanding pack out mode, complete with dog. So let's get started. We'll just start up here at the front. Most of this stuff, pretty much all of this stuff, with a few exceptions, I have covered in previous build videos, so I'm not going to go into great detail. Just tell you what it is and if I'm still loving it or if I'm struggling with it. In the front, Relentless Fabrication bumper. I've had this for almost 2 years now, and I absolutely love this bumper. This thing has taken a beating, and it is holding up great. Absolutely love it. Love the recessed winch mount. Keeps the forward-facing camera that is an option on the Gladiators. Highly recommend. The trail cam is awesome. Keeps the winch down low so the trail cam gets to do its thing. Keeps the radiator, free from getting all the air that it needs. Open road 4-wheel drive Panther Series 2 winch. This is a cheap winch, guys, and I have been so impressed with it. If you follow the channel, you know some of the situations that I get myself in. Mud, rocks, getting turtled, pinned around trees, all kinds of different things. Moving trees that have fallen across the trail. This winch has been fantastic. And then as part of my winch system here, I've got the Groove Fairlead from Yankum.com. I love this thing. No more big, heavy metal hooks here on the front that, if in a recovery situation and you do have a soft shackle fail or some other failure in your recovery point, there's not this big metal heavy projectile that can come flying back at you. So the Groove Fairlead allows you to just put a loop in your winch line, and that's all you got. There's no hooks. You just take a soft shackle, run it through the loop, run that to your tree strap or to the end of your buddy's Jeep or whatever. I love this system here with no metal in the recovery. It's a much safer process. The lights on the front. These are from Morimoto, same as the little cubes up there on the A-pillars, but these are from Morimoto. Fantastic lights. Absolutely love these. Highly recommend the Morimoto lights. These are Baja Designs S1s. These are specifically designed to go with this bumper. Or I guess I should say the bumper is just specifically designed to run these lights. No complaints with them. They're Baja Designs. They're great lights. All the bugs on the front, those are extra. Don't really necessarily recommend those, but they come on some trips, so got the bugs. Tires. Tires are Milestar Patagonia MT02s in a 38-13-50-17. I've been running Milestars for a long time. The original MTs had a bad reputation. It was deserved, but they were fantastic off-road tires. The MT02s fixed the on-road characteristics of the fast wear and uneven wear, and I usually change my tires out when I hit 50% tread depth, just because of all the mud that I go through in the Ozarks a lot of times, so I don't like them to get lower than 50% tread. Every single set that I've had has gotten 35 to 40,000 miles on them before I changed them out at 50% tread depth. That's really impressive for a mud tire, for any mud tire, and it's really impressive for the Milestars. So, yay for these. I love these tires. Are they the best mud tire? No, there are better mud tires. Do I think they're the best off-road tire? Yeah. And I've run Toyo MTs, I've run Ditto Trail Grapplers. I haven't run Coopers. Um, I've got friends that run BFGs, but I genuinely think these tires are incredible tires. Suspension, Clayton 3.5 inch premium kit. I don't have enough nice things to say about the Clayton lift. It is solid. It is well made. The only change that I think I would make if I were to do it again is I would get their Overland Plus kit instead of the premium. We've got the Overland Plus kit on my wife's Wrangler, and it is such a good kit. And the difference between the two is the joints on the control arms. Now, theoretically, the premium kit does give you more articulation. It allows a little bit more droop in the suspension because of the joints, but they are a joint that you have to maintain. They are greasable. You've got to stay on top of that maintenance. The Overland Plus kit comes with maintenance-free joints, and we have not had a single issue on Kara's rig. On mine, I am currently tracking down squeaks and wobbles because after, what, 40,000 miles? No, 60,000 miles. After 60,000 miles of running this lift, those joints are starting to wear out, which after 60,000 miles you'd expect. So I am currently in the process of replacing joints here and there as I find them being loose and worn and that sort of stuff. But if I had to do it over again, I'd probably go with the Overland Plus and the maintenance-free joints, just because maintenance-free is free time. Steering components, tie rod, drag link, sector shaft brace, all from Steer Smarts. It's solid stuff. My only complaint, the sector shaft brace really does a great job of tightening up the steering. Any looseness, the sector shaft brace does an awesome job there. Drag link, no complaints. It's solid, it's beefy. They're all aluminum, so they're lighter weight too. Steer Smarts tie rod. I've been having some issues with it in that it keeps coming loose. And some of that is the way these clamps are down here. They just don't hold real well. I also don't like their design and how, in this position they drop down and actually, hang up on rocks. But the connection at the knuckle has been an issue as well. Of course, the Rubicon does have the aluminum knuckles. I am currently on the lookout for the cast knuckles that come on the Mojaves. And if I can find a set of cast knuckles from a Mojave, I'm going to switch those out. Because I have had one of my knuckles get bent. The shop, Toys for Trucks in North Little Rock, they were actually able to bend it back when I was putting in what I'll talk about next, and to get me good to go. But I am on the lookout for some cast knuckles from a Mojave. Next is the axle shafts on the front. I've only had a couple issues with this Gladiator, and running 38-inch tires, running hardcore trails like Pritchett Canyon and Moab, I have broken 2 factory U-joints on the factory axle shafts. I don't blame Jeep for that. I'm running 38s, I'm running hardcore trails. Those U-joints aren't made to handle that kind of load. So I now have RCV shafts in here, and they were putting in the RCVs, and that's when they noticed that my knuckle was bent. Also, to help beef things up, I'm running Dynatrack ball joints. Those things are solid. They're adjustable. They're fantastic. I did have Terraflex HD ball joints in there, and I had to switch to the Dynatrack because the Terraflex are not compatible because of how the Zerk fittings are in there. The Terraflex aren't compatible with the RCVs. So, yay! I had just spent $500 on Terraflex and then had to spend $600 on Dynatrack. Yay! Moving over here to the side, KC Highlights Gravity Pro 6 light bar. This has been the 3rd Jeep that this light bar has been on. I mean, they're just great lights. They really are fantastic lights. They look really good too. So no complaints out of those. On that side, AEV Safari snorkel. I'm a big proponent of snorkels in the desert. Running in groups keeps the dust out of your airbox, some of the dust out of your airbox. And where we wheel a lot of times in the Ozarks, deep water crossings, deep mud holes, I think a snorkel is a must depending on the environment that you're in. Wheels, they are Vision Manx. I've had no complaints out of these wheels. They have taken a beating and they're still going strong. No complaints at all. Forgot to mention shocks. The shocks are from Elka. They are on the front. I've got the 2.5 DC. I think that's what they're called. Remote reservoir adjustable shocks. I cannot speak highly enough about the Elka shocks. They are incredible. The ability to adjust your ride when I'm on the interstate, coming out here. I firm them up a little bit so you know, don't get the body rolling stuff. When I hit the trail, I can soften them up so it absorbs the bumps. They are incredible. I am a huge fan of the Elka shocks. In the back, I've got the big beefy 3-inch shocks back there. They're awesome. Someone's going to ask, I did mention sway bar links. My other sway bar links were old and worn, so I replaced them with Evo sway bar links in the front. They're sway bar links. No, you know, they were the best ones I could find that were in stock for the price. So Evo sway bar links there. Rock rails, factory Rubicon rails paired with the Ace Engineering rock sliders. I love this combo. It does, you know, drop the clearance right here just a little bit, but you're still above your frame. But it makes just a great step, and it kicks out far enough that when I'm on tight trails, maybe pivoting around a rock, pivoting around a tree, this keeps everything off the body, and it does very, very well. Moving to the rear of the Jeep, I have made multiple videos on this rack. It's the XTR3, I think, rack from Extrusion Overland. This actually is their Ozark Overland Adventures Edition. We kind of designed this together to an extent, and I have never been more impressed with a bed rack in my life. The ability to access your gear here at the front, have like totes here that you can easily access without having to crawl in the back. Mounting points everywhere because it is extruded aluminum. You know, you can put handles everywhere. I've got lights mounted to it here, more Morimoto lights here. Their awning bracket mount is solid. I have hit this awning on multiple trees, as you can see, and both the rack, the mounts, the awning has held up great. The awning is a 4x4 Colorado 270 awning. I don't use it a lot, but when I do use it, it has been fantastic. It keeps the rain off. We used it in the desert on our last trip out here just to keep the sun off. Kind of wish I had it open now. But it is a fantastic awning. It's got lights on the inside. I've shown it off in other videos, so I'm not going to open it up. But fantastic awning. I'll go ahead and talk about the tent. The tent iCamper BDV Duo. I love sleeping in that tent. Of all the tents that I've owned so far, it is my favorite. And I am using their upgraded air mattress in there. That thing is the most comfortable mattress I've ever slept on. I absolutely love it. If I ever do get a new tent, I'm keeping the mattress. But I cannot speak highly enough about the BDV Duo. It is my favorite tent that I've ever used. Let's talk about the rear axles, the rear axle shafts. I have replaced the rear axle shafts with chromoly. I believe they're Revolution gear and axle, just to strengthen up the rear end. I was having axle seal leaking issues with the factory axles after, at that point, 75,000 miles to be expected. So I replaced them. Since I was going to replace them, I just upgraded to chromolys in the rear. That way I have peace of mind. I've never had an issue with anything breaking on the rear end of this Jeep. With the exception of the locker. I did have the well-known sensor issue on the Rubicons, both Wranglers and Gladiators. That is a well-documented issue. I bought the Z Automotive bypass dongle for it, which worked great for a while. But while I was at Maris Adventure Park back in December, my rear locker went out, and I didn't know why. And I took it to the guys at Toys for Trucks because I couldn't figure it out. They took it apart and diagnosed it. Somehow the wires going into the magnet of the factory locker got fried. No clue how that happened. I've not heard of anyone else having that issue before, but mine did. And here's the dumb thing. You can't buy replacement factory lockers for the Wranglers, for the new Wranglers and Gladiators, for the JLs and JTs. Jeep's solution to that is to buy a whole new axle housing, which I've already re-geared this. It's got 513 gears, Yukon in it. I've got the chromoly shafts, 32 spline. I didn't want to have to buy a new axle and then have to re-gear that and then have to do all that work and pay all that money for a brand new factory axle. That just seemed dumb. ARB makes an air locker that works, that's a drop-in for the Rubicons. I don't want to switch to air for my lockers. Eaton makes a replacement e-locker, but for some dumb reason it requires 35 spline shafts. I just put 32 spline chromolys in here. I don't want to have to buy another set of 35 spline shafts. I just did that. So I was really frustrated with the lack of aftermarket support, Jeep's stupid solution for that. And so I started calling around to a couple friends of mine and got a hold of Christian, aka the Ginger, at Epic Adventure Outfitters in British Columbia, Canada. They do all the America's Most Wanted conversions up there for their customers and also for White Rock Dodge up there. And so I called up Christian and I said, hey, you wouldn't happen to have a factory axle out of a Rubicon or a Mojave laying around, do you, that I could get the locker out of? He said, let me make some phone calls. So he called me back just a couple hours later and said White Rock had the rear axle out of a Mojave that I could have for dirt cheap. And I was like, okay, well, if I do that, can you pull the locker out and the sensor and mail those to me? And he said, bro, I got you. And so I did. I called White Rock. I bought that axle. They took it over to Christian. Christian removed the axle. Within a week of that transaction, I had the locker out of the Mojave and the sensor, and then I took that to Toys for Trucks, and they put it in there. Now I have lockers again. That was just a ridiculous process to get the rear locker fixed. So I'm shocked that by now there's not more aftermarket support and replacements and factory replacements for these things, because the JLs have been out since 2018. This came out, the Gladiators came out in 2020. It's now 2024. Come on, these things have been out for long enough. So that's my most recent issue with the rear locker on the Gladiator. I've never heard of anyone else that issue before, but it was dumb. All right, I'm gonna handhold this for the back end so I can get the camera back in the little nooks and crannies here. On the back, I mean, for an Overland rig, this is where the magic happens. Tailgate table from All Pro Off-Road, no complaints with this. It's been fantastic. It started with the mountain hatch, also had no complaints from that one either. Just had the opportunity to switch to this one to try something new out, and it's been great. Cannot speak highly enough about the SHW drawer system. This thing holds so much stuff. It is so much better than the decked drawer because it's a box. It's not some weird angled thing that loses space. All my camping gear, supplies and stuff fit in here. The drawer comes all the way out. I have since moved all of my kitchen gear to that wolf pack right there, just to make life a little easier, because I would cook here. This is my cooking surface. This is my kitchen, and I would set my stove up, and without fail I would forget something that I needed out of here, and I have to move everything. So took my kitchen gear out of this and put it in that wolf pack, and now I don't have to worry about that anymore. It's fantastic. That wolf pack over there holds all of my tools. impact driver, all that sort of stuff. Back there, behind the fridge, are my 2 anti-gravity 100 amp hour batteries being charged by a Red Arc BC-DC 1250. I've got full video on the install of all that sort of stuff. I have had recent issues with the anti-gravity batteries shutting down on me in the cold on our cold water run back in January. It's a weird thing. It wasn't cold enough for them for that to happen. So I called up anti-gravity. They're warranting them. They're still working, but the Bluetooth connectivity on one of them isn't working. So I'm still running them because they're working, but I've got 2 brand new ones that they replaced with warranty sitting at home. So as soon as I get home, I'll be swapping those out. Right there, that little green light is Renogy 2000 watt inverter. That powers all the needed things. Starlink, my laptop when I'm working, which I've had to do multiple times on this trip. Editing videos, uploading videos, that sort of thing. Do love the 5-pound propane tank with the power tank mount mounted to the extrusion rack. Iceco APL 55 fridge. Gosh, I love this fridge. It is such a good fridge. Got their new cover on it. I was testing it on this trip. I've never run an insulated cover before, so TBD on that, but so far it's working. It's definitely keeping the dust off. Inside, I've got this in single zone mode because I don't need a freezer on this one, but it's, I mean, as you can see, it has been exposed to all of the dust and weather and stuff back here. I've had it for right at a year now, and it is a solid fridge. I am running it on the new Iceco fridge slide, which has a drawer in the bottom. So that's the drawer. My biggest issue with this, I absolutely love it, and I'm definitely keeping it back here, but my biggest issue with it are really 2 things. One, this uses rollers. I don't know if you can see back there. I don't know if you can see the rollers very well, but it uses rollers instead of drawer slides. So it doesn't come out all the way, like as far as my previous slide did. So the back end of this, getting stuff from the very back is a little bit of a challenge. So, but I think the rollers are going to hold up longer with all the dust and stuff that's back here. So time will tell on that one. In this drawer, they come in 2 sizes. This is the short one. They also come in one that's about 5 inches deep, I think, maybe 7 inches deep. I went with this one because then my fridge would be way too tall. These are not dust proof in any way, shape, or form. So as you can see, like the bottom of my plates, that's why these are, I mean, that's dust. So these are not dust proof in any way, which I just rinse them off real quick. It hasn't really been an issue, just because I love the convenience of all my kitchen stuff being in this drawer. So I'm going to keep it and just live with the dust issue. But just know, I think this would be ideal inside an SUV. It's not necessarily ideal in the back of a truck, but I love it, so I'm keeping it. Also on the rear, the Oracle flush mount taillights. I have such mixed feelings about these things. I think they're the best looking aftermarket taillight for the Gladiator, but they're total crap. We've got them on Sully. We've also had them on my wife's Wrangler. They've only come with a 1-year warranty, and it is well known in the forums and stuff that after a year, these things are going to die on you. And mine started having issues. Kara started having issues, so we put her factory taillights back in hers. I happen to have a good friend and patron that his had the same issue of mine, but his passenger side went out and my driver side went out. So he bought a new set and sent me his driver side taillight. So I was running the factory ones for a little while, put those back in, but now I've got these back in because of my dear friend. So they look great. They fit great. Quality sucks on the Oracles. Aux beam switch panel here controls all of my bed rack lights. the rock lights that I use to light the bed. Morimoto one bangers here to light up my table. These lights are great for illuminating my kitchen here. Got one on each corner. And then I've got lights up there on the roof that are on my iCamper. Those things are great because it shines light right down here on the ladder. And so it gives me a great illuminated space for getting into my tent. And then I've got this switch here, which controls the lights in the awning. So love having that back here. And it's Bluetooth, so I can get in my tent and turn all the lights off from my phone. I don't have to reach down here. Rear chase lights, also by Morimoto. They're amber one bangers. Those are fantastic. Let's see. Fire extinguisher from H3, the H3R. Apache case from Harbor Freight keeps all of my recovery gear in there, or most of all my frequently used recovery gear in there, plus my air hoses. Highly recommend keeping your recovery gear in a very easy to access location, not under a seat or, in the back somewhere where you might not be able to get into it. Mini traction boards by Bunker Industries. These are just for leveling the Jeep. We actually did try to use these in snow back in January. Pretty worthless as a recovery board because they're just too short, but they're cheap and they're great for leveling your vehicle. On this side, I don't know how well you can see it. Morflate, their new 10.6 Pro compressor. It is wired to my aux batteries. I love this thing because you just hook it up to all four tires. You set the PSI on it. Let me see. There we go. So I've got them set to 37. And when they hit 37, it automatically shuts off. So it takes all the guesswork out of inflating your tires, and you can just walk away and leave it. Let's see. What else am I forgetting? Oh, rear bumper. Rear bumper here. This is a cheap rear bumper from J.C. Whitney. One of the first pieces of armor that I got for this thing. And it has taken an absolute beating. And it's heavy, but gosh, it has taken a beating. I love it. No complaints out of it whatsoever. And it was only like, I don't know, $400 bumper. But it is thick. 3/8 inch steel. It's not that cheap, thin Chinese steel crap. It is a solid bumper. Trash bag is from, I never get this right. I never think I'm saying this right. Atelier Expedition Adventure. It's a Canada company, honestly. Feo, Canada. Love this trash bag on the back of Sully. Now we'll come to the interior. Hothead headliners. Actually does keep temperatures a little cooler in here in the summertime. Definitely helps with the sound deadening because these Wranglers and Gladiators are not quiet on the interstate. So hothead headliners, and most importantly, they let you put patches up there. My favorite thing on the inside is my Anvil Overland accessory bar. Mine's way more than most people will be because of YouTube videos. But handheld mic mounts, phone mounts, tablet mount, another phone mount, Garmin InReach mount, GoPros, obviously. Larry has been fantastic. He's actually custom made some things for me, like this little mic mount here. I gave him the idea for the Garmin InReach mount, and he fabbed that up super fast, and now he sells those. I cannot speak highly enough of the Anvil off-road bar. For comms, Midland MXT 575 with their noise canceling microphone. The 575 is actually hidden up under the steering wheel. You can, I've got a full video on how I did that. Another aux beam switch panel, 8-gang switch panel to control all of my exterior lighting because I have a lot. Still have one switch open. Don't have any plans to fill it. But the aux beam switch panel has been excellent up there. Little cheap external speaker that I got from Amazon for the Midland just so I can hear everything great. That is on a Rubigrid from Bullet Point Mounting Solutions. Let's see. On this side, I've got, this is new. This is a little something I found on Amazon. I think it's by Hook Road. I thought I would get more use out of this than I am. I mean, you can attach molly things to this, but I thought this was actually came down lower and I could maybe stuff towels and blankets and stuff up in there, but there's not enough room for that. It wasn't very expensive, so I don't regret it. And it gives me a place to mount this this action camera mount. So there's that. A little molly plate here from JCR Off-Road that mounts the second fire extinguisher from H3R. And then SHW 60% seat delete. Gosh, I love not having a back seat. I'm ready to replace that seat and do the full seat delete that they make. I am so ready to do that because I'll never have passengers in here. So, and now if we need passengers, we've got the new Gladiator. But I absolutely love this. Just a nice big platform to keep all my stuff, storage in here. To keep the stuff that I don't need to access very often, but when I do, it's there and it's just stored. I absolutely love that. And I think that's it for the interior. I think that covers it. I'm sure there's some things I'm forgetting. Like I said, I've gone into more detail in previous videos, but overall, I still am in love with this Jeep. Sully has been fantastic. I have had no reliability issues on anything factory other than U-joints and the rear locker. Neither the front U-joints, neither of which would prevent me from getting home, from getting off trail. So no complaints there. And considering, you know, I'm on 38s, I do wheel this thing hard. I can't complain about that. I've had no engine troubles. I have had no transmission, transfer case, electrical. None of the factory stuff has given me issue from a reliability standpoint. The only time I've ever had to take this into the dealer to get something fixed was within the first 10,000 miles. My aux battery did do the aux battery thing, which is well known and documented. I have since, finally, after 85,000 miles, had that issue a second time, or started to seem like that issue was coming up. And so I've done the aux battery delete, bypass. So nothing's running off the aux battery anymore. And that's working great. But yeah, I'm sure there's plenty that I've forgotten. If you have questions, leave them in the comments. Bottom line is 86,000 miles, almost 3 years of abuse and hard wheeling, long interstate road trips. This thing drives so well. It has been an incredible vehicle. My favorite vehicle that I've ever owned. And I have no complaints with it at all. So if you have questions about Sully, recommendations, I just released a video on the new Gladiator that we bought, and some good principles on how to properly build a vehicle for off-road use and daily driving, that sort of thing. So check out that video for ideas for yourself. But if you've got any questions, let me know. I am just thrilled with everything. So there you go. There's the update. Thanks for watching. If you would, like, subscribe, give me the YouTube love. And check out our Patreon link in the description. If you like what we're doing, you like the content we're putting out, you find this stuff helpful, and our trip video is inspiring. How can you not be inspired by this place? Patreon links in the description. Gain access to special content, special events, all of our GPS data, like from this trip, and for all of our merchandise, shirts, hats, patches, stickers, stuff, go to shopoverlandapparel.com. I'll see you next time. We are going to hit the trail and keep exploring the Sonoran Desert. Bye.